All right, guys, we're going to talk about the movie Critters 2. 1988's Critters 2, Lee. Had you seen it before?
Of course.
Everyone's seen Critters.
Everyone's seen Critters.
If you have a good
Critters
life.
Too.
Nah, Critters is great. It's a wonderful franchise.
Yeah. I don't like it anymore.
I like it even more.
I could feel my nostalgia for this, and simultaneously being like, "It's fine, it's all right." It's like,
I love the practical effects. I love just some of the things that this posits, the world that it started for me, the time of my life that it came in. It swung in perfectly. And this, for Easter, is the perfect treat.
No, this mediocre but fun horror movie was very influential on me as a child as well.
This Gremlins ripoff is all you need.
It's basically no. I mean, we'll get into all the details and why
course.
and how and all that stuff. But yeah, there's it's the usual Critters fun, but another one again.
So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Critters 2. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Yes, I hate this movie. It's the worst movie ever made.
You are a lying horse, sir. I need you to bite your tongue.
I do not hate this movie.
Swallow your head by pulling up your upper lip.
No, obviously I don't hate the movie, but I remember seeing parts and being like, I remember that part, that's great.
Yeah.
And just kind of going like, whatever, it's fine.
I love the world that it posits.
By the end, I was like, is that it? I guess that's it. I guess there's more Critters later, but for now we're done.
Yeah.
Like that was my vibe, which is usually through all the nostalgia, that's it being bad. And I'm just like, oh, I guess that's all they do this time. Like,
I'd say the only flaw, problem thing is if they have an ability to scan whole planets for things, I'm like, I feel like you could really solve a lot of problems.
I'm not even nitpicking. I'm just like my enjoyment level. I was like,
the practical elements will always keep me happy.
Yeah.
Just like random things like seeing the spaceship. And then being bounty hunters on another planet to start the thing off. I was like, oh, there's like a creature. And then they're putting them in like a little freezer box with other things. I'm like, oh, look at that.
It's like the Predators rack, but they just fucking throw them in like toys to win it at the carnival.
And it's what is it? It's like it's a fucking one of those heads is very familiar. It's the Fifth Element. It's something is in there. Like
there is
like
right?
an homage,
which is the same. It's the homage to the homage from Predator 2. That's
it's deeper.
Amazing.
Where you have these worlds that are collided, and the worlds being owned by the same company, how you get Freddy in there.
Yeah, watching. I forget his name. The guy, Charlie. Watching Charlie be like, "I'm a bounty hunter," and like walk around and stuff.
Have you completed your mission?
Oh yeah, we wasted them. Check out the head on this sucker.
That's awesome. Space looked cool. A little Morbo alien guy shows up and just speaks English to them. And
there must be no doubt.
I'm like, what's happening? It's fine. That's fun and good, and I like that. But then, unfortunately, we spend 99% of the movie on Earth, and we're back on Earth.
In the nitpicks I have is that like in the first movie, like there are no faces. You have Ugg and Lee.
By the way, any movie that has Lee, I'm just gonna I can't wait to scour this for like drops.
Sure.
Where someone's like, "Shut up, Lee!" And I'm like, "Oh, I need that."
But I like that they're there and they take the form to assume where they're going. So the idea that we pick up on them later on a different planet and they are those same dudes again, you're like, oh, that's just because those actors are reminiscent to people watching the movie.
Yes.
Like that is in itself a flaw.
Yeah.
But I do like that in this one you do see him turn into a Krite. I was like, that's cool.
It's the bounty hunter. He let them back.
Yes, and like that. I thought you would hate that because it's like just fucking do that then. If that works, if they're that dumb that you can just fool them, just do that every time. That's exactly the type of shit you say constantly about everything that I like.
It's definitely dangerous to go undercover though.
Please. Well, everything they do is dangerous. They live a dangerous life.
Yeah, well, it killed Lee.
Lee's dead. Spoilers for this movie.
I
dead.
love Lee turning, like she's a playboy, and she turns, and then, like, just like her confidence as she storms down a field in just like a thong,
just tits out and stuff. Kill Kreitz. Lee is great because as a character they only ever say kill Kreitz, but they keep turning into other people, so all these other actors get to be like, kill some Kreitz.
Kill Kreitz.
And like kill Kreitz and do all these different takes on it. It's like, that's cute.
Kill more Kreitz.
I love that it appears that not only when Lee takes over that nerdy guy who works at like the Hungry Heifer, he becomes that guy, obviously, but it seems like either it's to take and get the full look at the glasses, or when he takes over, his eyes are worse and he needs the glasses.
I don't know.
Not sure, but no matter how you paint it, I love it. I love that guy. He's so nerdy.
No matter how you paint it, the original still needs the glasses, which are now being taken. So you're like, what's happening? Yes. Yeah. That's an awesome moment. That's another guy. I looked up several people where I'm like, oh, you're from this or something. And then it's like, I don't know you at all, actually. But that guy...
A couple people are familiar.
Yeah. A bunch of people have a look where I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
The bully guy is from Heavyweights.
Well, looky here. Little Bradley Brown. Haven't seen you in a long time, Pee-wee. How's your little space monsters?
Yeah, I mean, well, and
I love that one as a kid.
And that nerd is from something. Just nothing like that where I go, oh, he's this guy. But he's been in a million things, TV shows, movies.
Well, his voice and his look, like you could put him in anything.
I think he's a voice actor too, or whatever. There was somebody else, one of the sheriff's guys, I think, where I'm like, you're somebody.
That guy's seen in a million things.
He's a million things.
Are you sure you couldn't get somebody else to do this?
Sheriff Harv did it for 20 years running.
Well, I ain't Sheriff Harv.
But like the new sheriff and the old sheriff are both guys we've seen in a million things. It's that whole deal.
The new sheriff has the best scene in the movie.
Oh yeah.
When his fly is open and like like three fucking just like shoot into his crotch and start eating him. That's Easter, boy. That's
Easter, boy. And then inside the preacher's like, and a man dressed all in white came through the door. And then like he breaks through. Oh, I'm dying and all that stuff. And the kids are like, oh God, no.
Clothed in a long white garment, and they were affrighted.
So good.
It's wonderful.
I forget who the main character, the boy, the brown boy.
This D sucks so much.
What is he in the future? He became something. He was a voice actor. What is he?
Oh, in real life?
Yeah, he's famous for something.
He's the mayor of perfection, is who he.
That's not true.
Kevin Smith and Steve Smith? Wait, from American Dad.
Yes, that's it.
Is that what you were thinking of?
I hear more frustration on the last part.
Yeah.
Dad, wait! It's Saturday. Can't you help me? Mom's shaving coconut on my rocket.
Okay, so he's friends with Seth MacFarlane. He's on the Orville. He's in American Dad.
Yeah. So arguably, he's gotten pretty successful.
He's the most famous person in the movie, yeah.
He's in 2, of the 4 Critters movies. That's pretty good.
Which ones?
The first 2.
Oh, give us a suspense. Tell me which ones.
Well, we're waiting.
I wouldn't mind a reboot now, and it's him as a bounty hunter in the future, this many years later. Like
we set up a dark thing where it's like you can't live on Earth anymore because life's meaningless to you. So that's all planned. They're gonna come back and recruit you as a bounty hunter.
Yeah, something.
These no faces come from a planet of no faces that was also eaten. The planet just looks like an apple from a cartoon where the sides are just missing.
I felt bad for Charlie in this.
Yeah.
Because like Charlie's only thing was like, well, just don't leave me on Earth. And they're like, boop. And like he doesn't even react sad. They don't even give him a chance to like end the movie. Fuck it, end it. And he gets a weird little like see himself moment with some horrible blue screen. But
all right, there's too many things to unpack now. I love that. Okay, there's too much shape-shifting in the movie. It's stupid.
He ain't breathing.
That's okay, he don't have a mouth.
And then they have such a glowing hard-on for it that at the end they're like, look at what we can do. We have 2 Charlies. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
It's just doesn't look good yet. So they're like showing off at the end, like,
When they're-
ooh, he's going to fully cross over him.
Yeah.
Ooh, how did we do it? I'm like, obviously.
And like it looks different.
It looks
like, it's,
shitty as fuck.
And
Yeah.
it worked well when they just had a back of the head double.
Yeah, it was
like
fine.
all that stuff is
Yeah.
like really actually good. That guy does look like him from behind. Like, cut his hair properly. We got this.
No, he like hugs himself, and
Yeah.
you're like, that's fine. But they can't resist like showing it off in a way that's just disgusting and the whole thing.
And if they would have done like a lockdown camera cut, like that could have worked too. But they don't. They
There's
go
no
for the
need
ambitious.
to show these things off. Right, the movie that will it is so not ambitious that it will call the second movie the main course, as if we're not going to make 3 to 10 more movies, right? Should also be not ambitious and be like, this is fine. Look at the 2 Charlies. But the thing about leaving him on Earth, to me, that's the whole point of the movie, is he feels like he wants to go be a bounty hunter, but that's obviously not right for him. He's like dropping the fake head, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in space though. I'm gonna die cold and alone." And they're like, "So you like this?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And they're like, "Okay, cool." Ugg is like talking to him. So like the whole "Don't leave me on Earth" though is like, they're basically saying, "Listen, this is where you belong. Shut up. You're fighting it, but that's wrong. Just hang out
I'm
with
pretty sure
this
though
kid."
he's back in
Whatever.
4.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he comes back for 4 anyway.
Oh, you have to bring these people
and
back.
so
of course.
does Ugg.
I'm a bounty hunter.
You've been floating around in that pod for over half a century.
Yeah. Ugg, one of the only people. He's played by the Dresden skull magic head guy. Because I was the whole time like, who are you? You're some British
He
comedian.
gets mistaken for Tim Curry like all the time.
Of
People will
course.
be like, "Oh, Tim Curry." In Critters, I go, "That's not Tim Curry."
Oh, that's hilarious.
But
Yeah.
especially in that one, I'm like, I could see it. Like, it's not
Yes,
this
yes.
comparison that's ridiculous. But yeah, him, a stark contrast when he's in Dresden Files, like, looks totally different. Like,
And the kiss.
Needed a jolt.
Oh, that's good. That's rich. I've never heard that one before.
Not now, please, Bob.
Sorry.
like blonde or white hair. It's really
Oh,
short.
yeah, he's
like,
older, but yes, also definitely. So
trapped in a skull or
Well, so
whatever.
that's why the whole time I'm like, you're somebody. Who are you? And I'm looking, what could it be? And then finally this time,
The biggest downfall is they don't play the Critters song from the first one, like Power of the Night song.
Attack of those bunch of critters.
You
A big ball, the critters. They're rolling. Yeah?
No.
Is that not it?
That's not it.
It's right there. I remember it.
Tomatoes!
So like the movie opens and like we get like, you know, the love interest is like in her pickup truck and like when we get onto Earth, I should say, it opens. And like,
I caught up.
The parking too closed and the kind of thing. I remember as a kid being like, that girl's cute. I like her.
Yes. Okay. Because I'm looking at her and I thought like, well, she's not a bombshell. She's not like supposed to be the hottie. But I'm in love with this girl.
That was fast.
And that's going to be so awkward later because he's going to be like, what are you, an idiot? But yes, you agree. She's awesome.
No, 8-year-old me was like, this is great.
Well, it's like an older woman, and she has a Molly Ringwald like I'm like different than other girls.
Yeah.
Like I just slam my car door into other cars.
Yeah, she's capable.
Exactly.
The thing is, he looks so young in comparison to her.
I don't believe you. I mean, I do believe you.
Oh, it's hard.
Like
it's wrong.
him in his weird, ill-fitting suit. And I'm like, you are not a lead.
No, he's a fucking bring your suitcase to school kid.
Yeah, he's just the only one that
like
said
the cool.
Yeah, I'll
one.
come back.
Yeah. Well, but even that is like laid out in the plot. I love shit like this because she doesn't know how hot she is because she's like, I had braces and acne and shit until like yesterday.
Ponytail and braces and zits. You're Megan Morgan? Huh?
And he's like, whoa, va boom. But he's literally, he's like sitting on her lap. He's like a tiny baby.
Yeah, he looks like he's 4 years younger.
She's
than
like
her.
babysitting him, and he's like, hello. And she's like, you're a child. Yeah.
And 4 years might not sound like that much younger, but she looks like she's 21 and he's like 17 or
These
something.
are four of the biggest years you could possibly
Yeah.
have. But they end up together in this?
Yeah, they kiss at the end.
Oh, they kiss. They finally kiss. I remember thinking, they finally
Kiss her, son!
Fucking kiss her!
Come on, son, kiss your little gal and let's haul ass.
The goddamn sheriff just blowing up the spot.
No, yeah.
The sheriff, though, comes back from the first one also. He gets an awesome redemption arc when he's like doing his like, pew, 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 pew. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, boy, get it.
Because he starts out like, leave me alone and all that stuff. Yes.
I'm leaving town. Fuck you.
I thought a lot of it was funny like that, where she has to be like, well, they come to him and they're like, well, the town's gonna die. Why ain't the sheriff no more? The new sheriff's dead. And he's like, tarnation, get out of here. He's like,
they voted me out in a landslide.
You can't leave now. This town needs you.
Yeah? This town voted me out in a landslide. This town can kiss my ass.
Which is an interesting wrinkle for like the history
You'd
of it.
think though,
but he's also willing to just abandon the whole town, it seems like at first, which I liked. I was like, that's cool.
Well, because like in the first one, no one else knows that it really happened. Like he's one of the few people that could corroborate this story. But now, for every future election, they know he's the guy.
He's a shoo-in now.
Yeah. Although he led them all to like their own deaths, it seemed. Why were they following the critters to the meat plant? Like they're all like, all right, we're safe in this church. Let's follow them out into this. All right, we'll keep going. Oh no, we're fucked.
Yeah, is there a scene where it's like a crowd of like random Beetlejuice townsfolk people slowly walking?
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a totally different place where there's like tumbleweeds of critters and they all stop, and then it cuts back and they go, uh-oh, and they do
pretty much.
It sucks. The third act of this movie sucks so much.
Yeah, a lot of the movie, I'll say, is kind of just scenes shoved together. There's not much of a great through line here, and I do think a lot of this one is carried by nostalgia for like the scores of people that have seen it. But I still do like you could pull out most of these scenes, and I was like, ooh, what is this? Like, they do have me.
So it's hard for me to pick apart the parts of where my nostalgia is like real, or if it's just clouding my judgment or something. But I love that it's Easter, and that they're painting the crite eggs, right? The critter eggs.
Looks like someone's getting sleepy.
Not me.
So like you see like a normal egg, and then some egg that's like 3 times the size and like has texture and bumps on it, and the kid's just like just painting it like it's a normal egg, and the whole like that is stupid enough for me that I'm really into it. Where like the whole opening premise, because you see like the aliens have detected crite life, and then it cuts back to Earth, and he's like, so how much you want for them? And they're just selling eggs like it's a fucking. I'm like, eggs are trash. They're worthless. How would these like special eggs?
Well, they're definitely big. Well, it's kind of like, why are ostrich eggs so expensive? Like it's a similar thing. I would imagine.
These are like alien eggs, and it's obviously like a very specific thing, and it becomes the whole plot line just so they can be mistaken or like pass as like eggs,
used as Easter eggs
that are fine. I expected there to be some like attraction. Oh, we have the fucking whatever eggs. Look at these eggs.
And
that's what it feels like it's setting up.
Well, I think you could have done this easily with they're going to pick up eggs from that dude who seems to sell everything in addition to junk, and he would already be dead, and they just go, oh, these must be the eggs, and they could pick them up, and that could be a thing.
He said he would get us the best eggs. He promised us the coolest eggs.
Oh, these are huge. I think were they crab apples? It was something that like those are something that's real. Like I'm like, oh, I've never seen those before in my life.
That's great.
Cindy, these really are special, aren't they?
Yeah, really.
I was about to say, like you could have them say, these don't look like normal eggs. It's like, well, he's on the farm here. It's probably a duck egg. Just like make something up. Well, have you ever seen a pheasant egg? And it's like, no.
Yes, I have. These are not those.
I was like something that people haven't seen.
Yeah.
Or he runs the crocodile farm.
He has an emu farm.
Something. Yeah.
I do like that they do like they walk into that barn. They're like, oh, it's cold in here, and they do establish them. I'm like, okay, so it's cold in there, and then the moment any heat gets near them, they start to hatch. I'm like, okay, that's like a little thing.
Up on that. Yeah, that's great.
But it's there.
Hey, freezing in here.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Because we need an excuse for why do a bunch of the eggs hatch to kill that one guy, and then the other eggs, the other eggs get transported all around town and get painted and get laid out, and then finally they hatch later. Yeah.
I like the baby critters. I think they have a cool look to them. I like seeing them kill that dude. They kill his dog. You're like, oh shit.
They're like critters, but smaller.
Yeah. They bite his foot, and you're like, oh god, his fucking foot.
I actually love like the sense of humor in the like gore, I guess you'd call it, whatever effects, because they will take bites out of people where it's like, oh, it's just missing, like his whole shoe and everything just has the hole cut out. And you're like, that's really funny. That's good.
And then, like that guy's like body is just like, oh, he's dead. He like falls out of the fucking doorway. I'm like, what was holding him up there? Like Critters had to like lift him up and put him in that position.
Critters are very,
and they do have a sense of humor.
They love setting a scene.
I love when the shotgun shoots like the one's hair off. He's like, oh, bitchin'.
What up? Yeah. So this does have Gremlins overlap.
Pretty much.
We're not just talking. Yeah, exactly.
There's a deep fried one that like I'm like, oh, that effect looks really good. That's pretty cool. I like that.
It's all red.
Yeah. His skin is all fucking gone. He's like, ah.
So something about the Critters just being mouths, though, really like the puppetry feels like it's like I can see why Gremlins is Gremlins, but Critters is Critters. Where it's like,
and by that you mean you can see why there are more Critters movies. A TV show is launched around it, and people love it more. Is that what you mean?
People do not love Critters more than Gremlins. Oh my God,
beg the differ.
Gremlins is like the most famous thing. Oh, you're laughing at.
Beg the differ.
Okay, good. The point is, yes, that like the Gremlins do so much more, and they have so much more personality.
Yeah.
And this is like the Mad TV to the SNL, where it's like we're doing all the same stuff, but we really just have a furry mouth to work with. So we're not doing.
Yeah.
There's not like.
But they have a cool like them being able to spin up and like roll as a ball, shoot things out of their back. I'm like, there are some cool elements in them.
The spines are great.
Yeah.
And like seeing the spine here reminded me of the spines in the other movie where they were better. I was like, fuck.
Well, in this, like people just get over it. They're like, whatever.
Like,
they only really shoot one person with spines, like period. Like they almost forget that exists.
Who's the character actor dad we didn't talk about?
Better move it up to page 1.
Who I forget what he's in, but he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I love...
and he does just get over it. Or he's not, or they just put him away. They're like, that's fine.
He just sits down and he's like, oh, moist towelette, I'm fine. Thank God with this KFC wet nap.
Yeah, I remember the mom or someone gets it in the earlier movie, and it sets up like a ticking clock and like, shit, they have like poison coma. Too. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fun, but like yes, Gremlins is more like, and this is literally like a ripoff of Gremlins. But there's like it did survive the test of time. Where like it did make 4 movies. Then we have the TV show, and then that 5th movie, which not so good, but in the last 5 years or whatever. So like 5 years ish. So to say that...
I would agree that whoever owns Gremlins has a lot more restraints and is a lot less desperate, but I don't see what that has to do with anything.
No, just saying that like they've kept relevant in some way. Like we're
I like Critters, it's fine, but revisiting it just kind of makes me appreciate how it's a smaller toy-like thing compared to others franchises that are more fleshed out and have more going on or whatever.
Yeah, they can pop them out every couple of years.
Pop them out like Critters popping out
into someone's fly to eat them alive.
Yeah.
There
and he's like, ah!
I just have like, oh! Like it's so cartoonish. I love it.
They play like some weird cartoony music there, I think. I might be making that up.
I'll believe it.
Lee stays a nothing face till he finds the right cell. Can't live in the wrong cell.
You're like Jimmy Olsen with breasts. Too nerdy?
I'm a reporter there.
Really? Kind of like a Jimmy Olsen with breasts.
I can't believe he ends up with her, too. What a bitch.
Well, it's a movie. It was in the script.
I know that's why.
In real life, she would have killed him.
Right? He can't handle her.
What would he do?
Nothing.
Well, he'll never see her again.
That's true.
He comes back just on Easter. And I could have sworn in the beginning, like he's like talking to that like bus driver, and for some reason I wanted the bus driver was like, "You up for the summer?" And I'm like, "It's April. What do you mean?" That might not even be in the movie, but I have in mind it says it is.
Oh, Easter vacation with Granny, huh? Oh, that's a good grandson.
It would not surprise me, just because it seems like a lot of it's not. They don't really care. It's fine. They're just doing a thing.
But their relationship is funny. Like I love how like he gets cock blocked at the church. Yeah. He's like and the person's like, and his face like.
Welcome, friends. Welcome, one and all.
We didn't talk about Hippie Grandma.
Hippie Grandma.
This actually burned into my memory, because people forget, because they're older now. This was very popular to be this person, to be Hippie Grandma.
Wow, a chocolate bunny.
Oh, it's better than chocolate, honey. It's carob.
Where they were like, oh, the meat just rots in your intestines. And then you're like, wow, chocolate? And she was like, something better, carob. And you're like, ugh.
That's so weird because it's not wrapped in anything. She's
Yeah.
like, here you are, this bar of rabbit.
I make soap myself.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
Ah, it's the worst thing you could do to that body. Come on in here now and you have a good snack with these kids.
Yeah, no, it's all.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell
the
anyone.
FBI would be all over me.
I'm selling their fat asses back to them. Yeah, she'd have this whole other thing that she was doing in life. No, but like, if this was a Halloween movie, she would be like, nature's candy, the raisin, the powerful, right? And she has like 10 things like that, and that's so nostalgic to me of the time. Just to have someone be like, "Oh, don't eat any red meat. Oh, it's bad for you."
Yeah.
Whereas today, the veganism and everything.
Also, kissing him on the mouth, she knows the red meat.
Smell it
I'm like,
on
that's weird.
Yeah.
And like he's like, I better tuck this haphazardly into my pocket, and you think she's gonna like pull it out of his pocket, but I don't think she does.
Oh, hi. This here's American culture. Good reading. Good articles.
I like when he bites the tire, and it expands his body.
Okay. I actually love that. That's one of the things that I actually love. Because he bites the tire, and in your head, like rapidly, your brain starts to do math. Like, well, they can bite like anything, so we can probably bite a tire. But how would that work? Would a tire like explode? I guess we're gonna see the tire like deflate, but that's a big ass. What's gonna happen? And then, as if to like smack you in the face and say, "Shut up, nerd!" Just the like critter blows up instead, and he's doing a big thing. That's hilarious.
They do a couple great effects that are played nicely.
If you're going to use humor like that, you should be undercutting all these questions about, like, how does space travel work? Just throw some stale French fries in there, bitch. You don't need to explain these things. Yeah.
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
There is a sound effect at one point where a critter like jumps into a guy and like knocks them like 7 people over, and it plays the strike sound.
The bowling effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's made for kids.
It is made for... Listen, and like the rolling itself is very funny like that. When they join up to roll together... Even as a kid, I thought that was kind of stupid, but I understood like its utility in the story.
Yeah.
Having it roll over like a random farmer dude.
Oh yeah,
and it like skeleton. It does a little like bouncy thing, and then like it's just like a red skeleton. I was like,
it's what cartoons would have you believe piranhas do to a person in a mere second.
Exactly, and that makes it awesome to me. That rises
but as
it up.
It is a kid's movie, like that one's kind of cartoonish, but then like when Lee dies, it's just like a bloody hand on the ground. You're like this is a bit much for a children's thing.
It's not really played off.
Yeah. And like obviously it's not directly for children. There's nudity like all across this movie.
That's
so
true.
it's very interesting because it has like I watched as a kid, but I watched it on network TV. So those things were either blurred or cut or whatever. So it didn't have that same effect.
We should say that too. Is I also watched this on Channel 11 or something a lot, Channel 9 or something like that. So I was not prepared for all the nudity. I think at some point I've seen the whole thing.
Sure.
But I think I watched it 99% of the time censored with commercials. Which I think makes it a much easier, because it's nothing, it's fine. It's just the TV's on because the TV's always on, and this is what's on it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We've referenced Critters, though, sometimes, because we've done other movies that were directed by the Critters 1 guy, right?
Yeah.
The Critters 1 guy did, like, Bill and Ted and some other, like, real movies.
You and I have witnessed many things, but nothing as bodacious as what just happened.
This guy just did, like, TV and stuff. Whoever directed the second movie. Not the same as the first director. Just a working director.
Yeah.
Just a guy who like, was making movies at the time.
I don't feel any of the problems with this movie could be changed with a different director. I think it's...
Oh, I mean, in theory, a better director could have just made a different movie that was better. My point is that, this is not made by someone who's like, the first movie was like a huge success for me, and I have to honor its memory and make sure that I improve upon all the scripts of the... It's just another movie from whoever owns it who just were like, hey, who's working right now? Oh, this guy's free. He can direct it. They just did the whole thing. Which is, again, it doesn't make the movie the worst movie in the world, but it helps explain to me why it has a different vibe than the first movie did.
It sure is quiet.
Maybe they're all dead.
I wish.
To me, like, the tone is there, but it's a little undercut in that they don't go for it as many times as they can. Like there's like those 3 or 4 interesting scenes, but I feel like the first one did have like more per punch was like those like tire boiling haircut type of scenes. You had more like effects, more creature like in general. On this,
I forget the entire first movie. I was just saying this all theoretically, but yes,
I still think they all feel cohesive, and I like them. Like just things being shot on film just have that great vibe to them, and like our critters. I don't care. Fucking give me popcorn and watch a stupid movie. It's great.
It's a nice sparkly thing.
Yeah. For me, the like you said, the third act is where the issue is lie, where it just kind of gets a little like slow and drawn out. Especially once it like actually ends, you're like, no, I'm not dead. I got a parachute. Help me with this thing. I did this. Oh, I blew up my ship. Why did I do that?
Charlie.
Hi.
Does that ship not have guns on it?
It gets gratuitous. Yeah, it gets weird. Because when Charlie Kamikaze's in to save the day.
I'm a bounty hunter!
But then is revealed to have not died anyway. You're like, okay. Because, that's why
Was he falling for weeks? Like,
that's why
how high did he get?
Yes, it's like fully night, and he
it's
does
the next
thing,
day,
and he's still wearing the parachute in like fully day, walking down Main Street, which he says, can anybody get this? I can't get it off.
Hey, one of you guys help me get this parachute off?
And you're like, okay, I guess that makes sense. He was stuck in a tree or something. But yes, I think that's why I thought that they were, like the Charlie thing was muddled. Because when he dies, it's like, okay, he's fulfilled his purpose. He was a great bounty hunter. And now that he's not dead, but he stays on Earth, it's like, okay, obviously this is because you're fucking, you're just a child, Charlie.
Try and transform, Mug. I'm not a good enough bounty hunter to do it by myself.
Cut to at some point to the gun, like that extending like boner gun.
Oh, at the.
Well, it extends. I think almost every time I use it. But I think in the diner is probably the funniest one.
When they're all eating and squirting ketchup at each other, and then they just casually. Hope they don't notice.
Well, and even like Lee's face, she's like.
She looks down like this powerful rod.
Yeah.
When Lee first turns into that pinup girl or like whatever, I don't love all this stuff, but there's certain moments. One of them is here when she has the staple in her midriff area. Yeah, because there's a staple in the magazine, and she pops it out like, oops, like the technology that changes who I am, Mitch Evans, whatever. Right. Part 2 was before she turns into the be like nerdy towns guy or whatever. She gets this look on her face like. Looking at him.
Look at the mess you guys made.
Which is so weird, which I'm like, is that a part of it? Is that her, like, I need to transform, fuck it, I'll do this guy. Like, what's going through her? I don't understand.
She's trying to find the right fit.
It's really good. And she thinks she's found it.
And once you find the right fit, you stay.
And you stare
she never got the opportunity because she died. I do like when though like we mentioned before, she sees a Freddy Krueger cutout.
I hated this.
And she's about to turn, and Charlie's like, no, anybody, and he still has that porno magazine, and he holds it up, and then bam, she turns back into the Lee we know that it's most of the movie is the star, and she's famous. She's like the sister or daughter of someone who like runs the shit over there in the company, so she's in a lot of movies.
I don't know who this bitch is.
Not famous for acting, famous for like, I have rich, powerful family that put me in movies.
I don't count that as being famous.
I didn't say famous. I said famous for.
I didn't say famous. I literally said the word famous. No. And like to fully flesh that out, like Charlie's afraid Lee's gonna turn into him, and he's like, we don't need 2 of those. That would be crazy. We'll wait till later. So he holds up the porno mag instead, like, don't look at me. Then she's looking at a fucking random cardboard cutout of Freddy Krueger, and he's like, oh shit, we don't have the money for that. Oh god, oh, and he holds up the magazine again. Yeah,
I think it's funny.
It's funny, yes, but it's
I would have liked to though if we could have gotten a Robert Englund going, kill Kreitz.
Imagine
bitch.
It. Imagine it.
Would have been great.
Would have been amazing.
We could do that now.
Told ya, comic books was bad for ya.
That's true. Wait, The last movie didn't even have shape-shifting in it.
Well, it didn't have any bounty hunters, did it?
This is a cascade of errors, is my point. You could have had so many more things.
Hey guys, I'm Auntie.
Whose aunt are you exactly?
I still, if I were to come, and now that I know it's not that expensive to get the rights to this,
anyone will do it.
If I were to come into win the lottery of any actual proportion, oh, I'm making a Critters movie, and it's gonna be fucking down and dirty, like real fucking gory shit, a dark plot. Like maybe pick up in the middle of like the Critters are winning a war against Earth.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And we got to turn back time.
Yeah.
We could find a way.
No turning back time. That's stupid.
No, you fly around the Earth in the opposite direction. And Lois is like, "Mah," and goes back up her car.
No, he does it too fast. Earth stops dead. People shoot off into sun.
Oh, everyone dies.
Yeah. Easter sucks.
How did that little girl on the tricycle get down the stairs? She's just like on the porch, and then she's downstairs, running through the grass away from them on her little bicycle. But we see it's stairs. I feel like she shouldn't have been able to get down there.
I don't remember that, but I do remember a lot of scenes, just incidental tiny things where I didn't like where someone was after a cut, or like a door and like the distances. I was like, this is a bad movie.
Go tell the sheriff.
Sheriff is dead.
They got him up at the church.
And usually they have to look at one to turn, and he didn't do that.
This makes no sense at all.
We got nothing to lose but our lives.
And never that they become different. Like it's not like if he's a 6 foot tall blob face and he looks at like a smaller person, he becomes a 6 foot tall that person. He just becomes that person because that's how we can't actually do that. We just have the actors swap spaces. So
I'm glad that you specified.
The Krite thing is a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It was just like, this would be funny, I guess, but they don't do anything that funny with it or that good with it, and I'm sorry. But I have high standards.
I can say though that, especially as a kid, did not see it coming. Like you're like, oh, they get bigger the more they eat or something. Like, because it gets padded by some actor at some point going like, look at that big one, and you're like, yeah, look at that big one.
Yeah, look at that.
He must be the boss.
He must be in charge. Cheeseburgers.
God, the size of their leader.
I will say, cheeseburgers, no bones.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Are you still...
Nah. I don't need that anymore.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition.